Welcome back, everyone, to College COD. It is our CCL regional playoffs here, and I'm joined by none other than Mr. Corn himself. How are we doing this fine Friday for you, Saturday for me?
I'm doing fantastic. Just struggling to get everything together here in the last few minutes, but happy to be along here for what's going to be a fun match between the Pirates and the Trailblazers.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting one. I've heard that this Dallas, even though their stats don't look too good at the top, they're always 6-5. They've got quite a good squad on them, so I mean, this could be a really interesting matchup to say the least. So, speaking of which, let's go to that head-to-head and just see how these two teams do tie up against one another.
I'm taking a look at the head-to-head. Like I said, look, 6-5 record on the season. Hey. Regular season, it doesn't really matter as long as you make the CCL playoffs. This is the time where it's going to be a lot of fun. I think the thing that a lot of teams kind of focus on is like just making it to that postseason push towards the end of the year, and just being able to beat the best teams when it's called upon you to do so. Because everybody was making the regional playoffs, so getting through regionals and then getting into the CCL playoffs, that's kind of where your season is. If you didn't make the CCL playoffs, I mean, at least for me speaking, it kind of feels like the season's a wash and you didn't really maybe place as well as you thought your team could have or where you wanted to finish the year out at. So the fact that Dallas was able to get here while kind of struggling throughout the regular season, it's been great to see. On the opposite side, though, we got to talk about the Pirates. ICC, a team that's had quite the tenure the last few years inside of the CCL, 8-3 throughout the regular season. Nothing to snuff at, but it could have been a little bit better. But here inside of the CCL playoffs, looking to make it past the first round. I think the Pirates right now are poised to make a run at least a little bit deeper into the bracket, but I think this Trailblazers team might be something that could upset them.
Yeah, definitely could be one of an upset. And speaking of which, we'll be looking at the maps and modes that we will be facing off between these two sides in this setup of series, which is looking for like a really interesting one. We're going to see a double exposure in the first set of rays, so we're going to see that on Hardpoint and the Overload. And split in between will be that Den Search and Destroy, and if need be, there'll be Blackheart Hardpoint, Raid Search and Destroy in terms of a map setup here. How do you like that, Corn, between these two sides as it stacks up? Because exposure always for a respawn is always a really interesting one for sure, in terms of like the fact that once you've got it kind of nailed down in that hardpoint, Overload could kind of be a whitewash for you as well if you've got yourself flowing in that mode.
Yeah, I haven't necessarily seen too much on the Trailblazers throughout the year so far, so I'm quite curious to see how an exposure map where it kind of calls on you to play a bit more front-facing than it is on the kind of receiving end, where you want to be the team to get out on rotation early. You want to make sure you're holding everything down specifically on some of those lanes, being able to block those spawns, especially out by P2. I'm curious to see what the Trailblazers have done throughout the year to get themselves in the spot to where they could upset a team like the ICC Pirates. But again, the map set to me doesn't seem anything too far from the grain. We're not really straying far away from anything that we've seen too much throughout the year. Realistically, I think it's just kind of what I'm curious on the most is how are the Pirates going to kind of respond through some of the adversity that they've played through. Obviously, we're going from a spot where we had the teams that qualified inside the regional finals. You know, if you're just watching the broadcast and you were with us last week, you know, going from the best of sevens back to the best of fives, it's a little bit weird. Just kind of seeing that translate back into kind of like the first round of playoffs all over again. But I will say for the Pirates, the thing that I'm curious about is their pace of play, because the last few years inside of the CCL, they have had a relatively good pace against some of the better teams. But again, as the story is for a lot of the teams that we talk about all the time, it's like, okay, how far are you going to be able to make it this year? Like, how deep of a run are you truly going to be able to make? Because there's a lot of teams every year that we say, oh, they've been around for a while. They've been a pretty good team. They've always been around the conversation of a top 32 like CCL playoff team. But how far are you actually going to be able to push it this year? That's what I'm curious about for the Pirates, is they have what seems to be at least a favorable first round matchup here against the Trailblazers. But again, I don't think that's necessarily something that we can just say, oh, looking on the paper, 6-5 record, they're going to be an easy team to beat.
Yeah, well, we've said this many times on any of the watches that I've watched alongside here. Stats in this meantime mean really nothing when it comes to the nitty-gritty knockout scenario, especially when winners loser bracket, such like, you know, it's the one series you got to win. You don't have to matter about what's happened in the past, what's happened before, how your map set is. If you've been working on it and you've been progressively getting better every single time on the maps that you've picked and selected, there's a reason in that throughout the whole season you can progressively get better. And the Trailblazers, maybe they're slow starter, maybe they started to get themselves back into it, and the map set, hopefully for them, obviously will suit them against this Pirate side, who obviously on paper do look like the better side, but like I said, it is just all about how far can you go, how deep can you make your run, and can you make it towards that inevitable LAN opportunity as well. Like, that's what they're all vying for, really, right? It's all about getting that spot in the end.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll be honest. 8 spots up for grabs for LAN, so it's like, okay, it's basically the same kind of qualification kind of setting that we were inside of the regional playoffs. It's like, you just got to be top 8 here. The problem is you're playing from the best teams of every single region inside of one winner go home tournament, or I guess you're really staying home since it's online. But regardless, like, that's kind of like the stakes that you're facing up against here inside of this. To get to LAN for the CCL is kind of like the kind of coveted spot that you want to be in throughout the year. That's every team's main goal as we get to the postseason every single time around. But like I said beforehand, like, just getting into the CCL playoffs itself, at least for some teams, is a feat of its own, right? Like, there's teams that go throughout the regular season, they might have been sitting at around 500. They might have been like 1 or 2 games positive or 1 or 2 games negative. All of a sudden, they hit stride when regionals come around. They start running through the bracket, and then they find themselves in top 8, and they're like, holy, we just made CCL playoffs. And then everything just starts to kind of like feather back around. You're like, okay, wait, the season's not lost yet. We might have not even snuffed the grand finals for the regionals. We're going into the CCL playoffs. Now it's a completely different opportunity. You're playing somebody from a different region. You're playing a team that could be all the way from the Northeast while you're playing in the Midwest. And now all of a sudden, you're talking ping differences. You're talking this, you're talking that. And that's the online fun that you get with everything. And that's why I love the CCL playoffs so much, is because there's so much uncertainty within the mode that it just makes it that much better every time.
Yeah, exactly. And not speaking about this, see how much better we can make it, as we will be loading into that exposure hardpoint for game number 1. Independence Community College, the side Pirates up against the University of North Texas at Dallas here. And that is going to be the Trailblazers for map number 1. I mean, we can't put anything to it. We're just going to hope that this is going to be an absolute blow of a matchup here. We're going to want to see as much action as possible as we do load on in to game number 1.
Look at Schlep, man. Look at Schlep. So inspirational. I'm going to be so honest. I went into chat right before we started broadcasting. Mark, I know you know this, but I was like, dude, who is on UNTD Dallas? Because I have not heard of this team throughout the entire year. And then John's like, oh, it's Schlep's team. I'm like, oh, shoot, let's go. So yeah, we're not necessarily rooting for Schlep, but that's his team. We're going to watch him and kind of put a magnifying glass on him throughout the series, because why not?
Yep, see what this man can get up to for sure. As a couple of kills go back and forward. Nobody really taking full control of P1, but that few kills in the feed there will inevitably mean that the Pirates do get the first initial bit of time before a double nade takes out Schlep and Amity, and there's going to be another double back here for Dallas Trailblazers as they get a wee bit of time and almost tie this back up here, looking at that rotation for P2.
Reap making a little route to the back. Gonna be able to spot one out on long. Second one on the top side of Solar. Shot's a bit wayward, and there's actually a deep spawn in from behind. So a good wrap in from Chance is gonna allow them to set up here for P2. Or at least get themselves what would have been a great position to hold down those spawns and start blocking out by P4. It's actually going to turn back around, though. Dallas is going to get the chance on the opposite end. Chance hops into the hard point. AR in hand, looks to the inside, doesn't read that the middle map push is coming through. So Paper Last Alive basically in a 1v3 here. We'll get one for his money reinforcements here, so it'll get a little mixy here on P2.
Yeah, definitely getting mixed on the tank here. Vapor, though, he doesn't matter who is gunning him. He's trying to figure it out all by himself, but the good man Dan done a good couple before reload. We'll take out both of them and get back into that time, and Pirates take the lead by just a narrow margin, but it seems to be the Dallas Trailblazers. They're still holding on to that pack spawn, because P3 being more of a money hill than P1 and P2 inevitably, but 4 dead in the feed means that Pirates will get that rotation early and absolutely spawn out the Trailblazers.
Best spot you can be in right now. You got the hard block in the back. You got slumped up in middle map. They're not going to be able to read this whatsoever. Second one up through long. Gunfight doesn't go his way, but he slows down the push, and Rylo's able to find one for the money. So 3 versus 2 on the front end push. Chance down low with the NPC, catches good man Dan out on the reload. Route all the way north side of the map is the only player alive here from Dallas that's really going to be able to make any sort of presence push towards the hill. But it might just be the best timing in the world. Chance is on 5 in a row, will back off. Here comes the flank in through the back door. You're looking for 1, but Chance is going to snuff it out. He's going to run it all the way down. He's up to 6 in the Hellstorm.
Yeah, that's it. Just building and building and building. More and more kills, and there's a 7th in a row. So all of a sudden, it's a good lead that you're getting here, and you still got 30 seconds of time. But it will be Dallas Trailblazers that get that close spawn, so they're going to come in from both sides here. Hopefully, try and get that pinch if they can get in through the doorway. But obviously, that is not going to be the case here, as Vapor does find 1, gets a second, and Even though they're trying to come in from that back door, they eventually make the break in, but there's only 17 seconds of scrap time remaining, and rotations for P4 are already underway here as Pirates are already got 2 set up in that hill.
They had a really good hold there. Honestly, Dallas kind of gets fortunate here because they send 2 to the south side of the map. They send 1 up north. There's still a block in the back to where parallels are going to be happening, and they're not going to be able to fully spawn in the back here, and that is actually probably the biggest 1v1 of the map so far that we have seen. Amity, though, finally going ahead, knocking out that final ICC player in the back line of spawn. So this is going to guarantee them that backside spawn here for P4. Inside of the hard point, things start to get mixy. Reap is able to find one on the trade there for his teammate. Good man, Dan in the back line will hold the spawns, and now through middle map, you've only got 1 body here that will be falling out. So now it's going to be all about the respawns, reinforcements, how quickly you can get back to P4.
Yeah, just how quickly they've managed to answer back the P3 that was held there by the Pirates. All of a sudden, they are actually back in the lead here. The Trailblazers, they held P4 for the majority of that time. 40 seconds going their way, looking to try and make sure that they get all full 60 before they start making their way. And they're finding the kills that they need, but Schlepp does get eventually taken down there by Raylo. But the trade's in, at least they get control of the remaining scrap time and head towards P5. But they're going to play on number 8. Good man, Dan. He has pushed himself right up well. Number 5 of Schlepp is trying to hold back just to keep the spawns and try and sneak in from behind of the Pirates. Unfortunately, he's going to be the one that has to turn it and gets taken down by Vapor. But nobody in control of P4 at the moment as it goes back and forward in the trades.
All right, good trades. Bottom left of the map, where Dallas is coming off the spawns. You're going to get 1 that spawns all the way out, and good man Dan should be read out by Rilo there. Amity looking for the kill. You're going to be able to clear out the right-hand side. All back over to the left now. Dallas trying to funnel to the front and up through middle map. You're going to see 3 bodies go bottom ring. As the trade on the hard point goes their way, it's going to be a 3 versus 2. Vapor turns back around. Teammate gets the call out. Second one there. Good snaps. Forces good man Dan to go long. Now has to chase on the follow. Hop up through middle. Uses the tech to his advantage. Now the game basically tied up once again. But I mean, look at Dallas, man. That P3 hold, or excuse me, P3 and P4 hold really do a lot of justice of being able to tie this game up.
Yeah, it's definitely, but Vapor, he's on a 7 straight as well, and he's making it 8. All of a sudden, he's just 8-0, and I'm assuming he got a reset in there, because I'm sure he killed more than that beforehand and take a few deaths, but I don't know, it's just a bit of a strange one. He's just went 8-0, he's got a streak. That's 2 streaks for this Pirate so far, and the score is still pretty much in touching distance between each other as well, considering after the first set of rotations, which is a strange one to see, considering the scoreline is literally 10 seconds the gap. That is just phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, there was a disconnect that happened, and I didn't touch on it because I was just like, okay, I don't know if they're gonna play this out or not, and I was waiting to see if the lobby was gonna end, but no, it didn't end, and Vapor came back and is now 8-0, so somebody's gonna be questioning things on the other team, I'm sure of it. Just kidding. Haha, we had to make a little fun there, but everybody downside on the bottom of P3 will hop up. Looking in P1, though, you have Schlepp just trying to body himself on the hard point. Those ones to the left-hand side, pre-fire shots were good to chip damage, but it's 1-1 trade. Good man Dan still there, holding the middle map. It's the Pirates, and with 10 seconds left, you have the Reap. Holy. Yeah, woke up an hour ago, guys. Out over by the solar side, trying to block over for those spawns to get themselves good time on P2.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be a good time set up, and it's going to be Reap that tries to go on through, and he does manage to find one, looking for a second there around the corner, but nope, it is going to be shut down. Vapor will finish him off. He's 10-2, but is that a streak guy here? Are we hearing it? It is seeming like a streak coming out here. It will be potentially going to land right on top of Schlepp. There we go. There's one down, and control going the way of the Pirates. Now, if they can hold it off here for that bit of time, there will also be the chance to hold P3 once again for a strong amount of time, which last time out they took the lead quite convincingly and took P3 control for the whole 60 seconds.
I got slump on the cutoff here, bottom ring. Yeah, it's just a tough gunfight. If you're Dan, wanting to slide out there, got to make that a little bit quicker on 2 bodies if you're going to try and take that gunfight, but situational at best. Chance up top on P2 will find the first player pushing in. Rilo on the back end trying to hold down the Plaid side will fall down. So now you have Slump and his player with him in Vapor up on top P3. Trying to hold this down through middle map. It looks like Schlepp was about to get the read, but gets shot in the back off P2. So everything through the back now, trying to funnel through the door. Double push in. Rilo finds one. It was a team kill that came in, but it's still a 2 versus 2 back on it. Through the bottom side, they're going to take the low cut inside of P3 building. They've got another gunfight they need to take here. 1 up top, now 2 up top. Trying to flank around. Schlepp falls down, and another push in through. Stick on the Semtex. Vapor up top. Now Rilo in for a trade. Pistol challenge good, and it's a break back from the Pirates.
Yeah, a great break back in here as well, considering I thought Slump was going to go on a wee tear himself, but the Semtex taking him out of that doorway, but the break still comes in from the Pirates, and all of a sudden you're getting a 20-point to almost 30-point lead here if they hold the remaining of this time, and it is looking like Reap, he's going to try and make his way in and shut them all down, but 1 for 1 the trades, and it works in favour of the Pirates once again. They get control of P3, but they have spawned the Dallas Trailblazers over towards P4, but they held it first time around for 60 full seconds, and if they do that again, they'll take that lead right back away. It's a very back and forward hard point we have on our hands here at this moment in time, Corn.
Yeah, ICC's been playing fantastic. Even with the disconnect, being able to kind of keep this game within arm's reach when UNT Dallas was able to get the back end to P3 and then really a full 60 on P4. Now you look back over to P4 where they made their bread and butter last time. It's a full 4-man push here from ICC in the back line. Vapor will be the first to fall. Slump tries to go for the trade and will absolutely do so as he's got a teammate for helping through the front. 3 versus 2 on the break here. Now they got to push in. First contention. Left side gunfight goes the way of good man Dan, and Amity's able to find one out by Solar. Chance now on the backside flank. Spawns are out towards middle map here for UNT Dallas. Realistically, that's just a great break through the front here from the Pirates.
Yeah, a great break in, but it's instantly answered back, but Vapor manages to find the next 2 to stop that from completely swinging over, but the close spawns will go the way of the Pirates, but control. Dallas Trailblazers, good man. Dan almost slides into the other 2, but coming in from the side tower is going to be the Pirates, and they keep control of that lead, and that last bit of scrap time as they look towards rotation towards P5 now. A few kills going their way, they'll get there first as well, because the way the spawn is coming, they're all going back towards where P4 and a split spawn's coming in as well. So over the back vans, you're going to get the chance to split it here if you are the Trailblazers.
Yeah, tough gunfight up middle map. It's good man Dan who makes the most of it. They should get the read that another player is on site here, and the Hellstorm's going to go all the way to the backside of spawn, so it's really just taking one player after another down and just making sure that you're chipping everybody away as they're trying to scrap back to the hard point. 30-point deficit doesn't feel like the end of the world here for Dallas, but as the ICC Pirates are back inside of P5 here, it's going to start to make the world of a difference as you're looking to push forward. Vapor trying to find the first gunfight over to the right-hand side. LaReap there, second gunfight, hip fire in, but a trade from Slump. Look back to Black Box, and the final player is dead. So that's all 4 bodies from Dallas. Now back to the respawn block. Back 15 seconds should go to the Pirates.
As you say, that 30-second gap doesn't seem like much, but once you're getting towards that 200-point mark, it makes a massive difference here. Going into our first set of rotations now. Chance going to get the first early kills towards the hill. He's going to spot one up towards ring, so he's going to back down for now and gets a nade. He's going to damage Dan and finish off Dan as well as he peeks that corner. Fantastic. That NPC is just absolutely disgusting.
Good shots in middle. But realistically, the conversation needs to be about the map control up through middle that Dallas have given themselves a chance at. Speaking of, Chance now looking to push his way up through long, playing his life to a T, but doesn't realize that Amity's pushing for the top side of P3. Now you have the break into the hard point. Slump's able to find one, repositions himself in the hard point, but it's LaReap on a trade. 3 versus 1 now, top 3 window. Anytime that you can knock off here for ICC is fantastic. Do not let this lead get any closer, even though a lot of this mid-map pressure is going to Dallas right now. The problem is that they're not converting it to time, and ICC have not only got P1 back, but they now are looking for the P3 spawns to wrap the right-hand side to play through the north for P2.
Yeah, once again, Chance is just going on an absolute tear. That's 5 in a row. He's about to hit a 40 bomb so far. That's keeping the control and the time going their way as ICC will look to try and get the break in now for P2 and potentially finish it right here, right now if they can. Coming through that mid cut, that's going to be a good kill, but back and forward to trades go. Reap can't survive that one. That's going to be 2 dead. And all of a sudden, the Dallas Trailblazers, they just have to compete for the time as much as possible because everything is taken away from them. 10 more seconds remaining on this hard point, and Chance makes it 10 in a row. Is he going for the 50 before the time is out? 6 more kills, but only 8 more seconds required here on the hard point.
Dude, give Schlepp the credit. He had found those first 2 gunfights to keep them alive on P2, then comes back with a nade and a double for himself, gets a triple on the break back in. Now it's the Hellstorm over the top. 24 seconds. Need to play your life perfectly, but do they get the read on Slump coming from a flank? They need to be able to survive the Hellstorm, but they can't through the long side of the map. Slump up through middle map, gets the 1v1. Now it's all down to Dan, but it's a trophy that takes down the final player. Rilo now has to sit in the corner. They touch here for just a moment with 7 seconds left, though. Now they need to push through, not only get over to P3, but they can't let anybody touch, and Vapor just slips in the back line over through the solar panels. It is able to close out map 1. So many things had to go right there for Dallas, and unfortunately they were just playing from the deficit. ICC had the winner's advantage, the leader's advantage at that point. They'll take map 1 here in the first round of the CCL playoffs.
Yeah, wow, what a map it was. It was back and forward for pretty much 2 full rotations. The third rotation started to slowly get away from the Trailblazers, but what a start we had, and that was even with a disconnect and such like as well. Vapor came back all guns blazing, but Chance with a 48 kills, a streak of 10, a 4,700 damage, and he even still managed to accumulate 52 seconds on that time. Man, it was doing everything around the map, finding all the early kills in the rotations, and you know what? I mean, fair play to him. That's a great way to start your day.
And shout out to Chance, man. 48, 35, almost 5k damage. Yeah, you'll take that in the game 1 every day of the week. Specifically, we talk about having to deal with a disconnect halfway through, and the Vapor comes back, goes on an H3 there to really get that game kind of kicked back in their favor. UNT Dallas, they, on top of that 4v3, were able to hold down P4 for about a full 60. That got them to about a tie game. They were the first out on rotation to P5. Then ICC broke back. And really after that point, when we got to that second rotation, we kind of kept going through the motions of everything. We saw them kind of just keep that spread a little bit further between them and UNT to where it wasn't ever something that was necessarily in question. There were moments where we saw the Trailblazers kind of bring it back a little bit, some great breaks that they were able to have. Schlepp going massive at the end of the game to try and keep them alive on P2. But again, it just comes down to ICC kind of having not only the map spread over by P3 on that rotation towards the end of the game, but being able to send maybe 1 or 2 bodies either through middle map or back on P2 to play for 1 to 2 seconds of time that they needed to close out the game there, because they had different options that they could go with, and they had those spawns there, so it wasn't going to be something where they're like, yo, if we push 2 here, we're going to spawn out. No, they were pretty much safe and secure. It was all on the Trailblazers to kind of make that desperation push. Fortunately for the Trailblazers, it doesn't work out though, and the Pirates are able to steal away map 1. That was at least the conversation coming into this, was how good were the Trailblazers going to match up against this ICC roster. And at least for map 1 there, it seemed pretty fair, all things considered, when you look again on paper the records between these teams throughout their regular season. I think the Trailblazers, a couple things go their way. Maybe one of the breaks on P3 that they tried to go for, they come out on top of the trades there, specifically on that second set of rotations where ICC were able to just swarm through the top window and get full control of that. Or maybe they don't get fully broken on that P4 hit on the back end. There's just a few moments there that you really can sit there and say, well, the Trailblazers had moments to get 20-30 seconds of time towards the back end of a hard point. So lots to be happy about if you're a Trailblazers fan, but again, Pirates come out on top of map 1.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like the Trailblazers, they were just unfortunate as well. The fact that most of them went negative, pretty much every single team player in the team went negative. Luke did manage to get himself a Hellstorm, but the Pirates, they accumulated about 3 different Hellstorms and used them where required there just to make sure that break was there early, get a couple of good kills from it as well, because Chance found a couple of good ones and broke it open, and I managed to give them like 10 to 20 seconds on that hill, which inevitably became the difference of overall a 60-second margin, and that was basically in the last seconds, like the end of the P2 rotations, the second set, and into the early stages of the first set rotations. That's just where that gap started to accumulate here, and just started to run away with things here, the Pirates. But going into Search and Destroy, we're going to slow things down a little bit here. We're going back to, well, we're going to Den, and yeah, I mean, anything can go when it comes to Search and Destroy. It's normally the outlier here, because Search and Destroy can win you championships, but you can also lose you championships. So at this point in time, you don't want to go 2-0 down in a series. So this is the answer back that you want to get on the board here if you can, if you're Dallas Trailblazers.
I mean, I kind of give a spotlight to Chance real quick. I know we kind of did throughout the entirety of map 1 and even in our post breakdown there of map 1, but I think going into an S&D, you kind of play off contingencies of players who are going to be able to get you 1 on a bomb site. Den is one of those maps where you have the ability to kind of hit any of the 3 lanes to get to a bomb site. It's one of those maps where you kind of have the luxury to kind of pick and choose where you want to go, opposed to a map like Scar or some of the other maps where you only have like 1 bomb site that you can kind of push out that's favorable for you. The other ones are just kind of like really difficult to get it down. So when we talk about Den, obviously that B site usually is a bit more favored, but the A site can really work in your favor too. I just think I look to Chance as the player that I want to see kind of take that initiative, specifically on that B bomb site when ICC's on offense, because either A, he's going to be able to run up with that NPC and get you 1 instead of 10. Maybe he plays over towards the bomb. Maybe he makes a route up through middle map with an AR looking over the top, but I just want to see him continue to get active, activate the rest of his teammates, whether it be the ARs to have to then be able to hold over the top while the other team is worried about the sub pushing up. Maybe it's a rotation back from a position that they were trying to get to. If he can make the defense or even the offense of the Dallas roster uncomfortable, that should lead them to more engagements throughout the map and more first bloods, more trade opportunities, all the like. So that's what I want to see from Chance. Be the difference maker, be the first one in, find yourself some important kills.
And important kills, as it is always, first bloods can be a big massive game changer in the terms of search and destroy, but in mid-map it's going to be Chance. It's like you said, the man of the hour is going to be the one to try and look his way in. Going to be smoke out on that zone, knowing he's going to come sliding in for that first kill, and it is going to be Chance that opens up the first blood.
Slap on the rack back. You'll see ICC just kind of holding themselves with 2 over by B. You got a player making a long flank route all the way back, but it's good man Dan is able to find Slump. So now this puts ICC in a really precarious position. Dallas inside of Dojo. Slump doesn't get the read on one, but he gets the shots on the first one. Second gunfight goes the way of good man Dan once again. So now it's a 1v2 down to Rilo. Right side corner, going to check out the player inside of Tin. Knows that both bodies are here over on this B site. The player back by Dojo is going to get ripped. 32 HP and now a full wrap over towards A. Love this play from the side of Dallas.
Yep, let's see what Rilo can do here though in a 1v2 on this defensive side. A site fully certain down here for the plant. And now Rilo's going to try and do it with time against him. He's got the spot as well and doesn't get the shots, but he goes for the reload. Spots the second player as well, so he knows exactly where they are.
You give him maybe just another look at that. Potentially that gunfight goes that way, but you feel like that round really comes down to being able to rip that first player over by the tree. That is such a difficult gunfight to go ahead and take. Full lay down, lots of cover to work with as you're trying to dip away. Hell, even inside the respawn, that's one of the gunfights that you really just don't want to be taking in the backline. You're going to wait and just try to hold the spawns out there. So, all things good, at least in the beginning here for Dallas. As we see them find a little bit of life early on here inside of the search and destroy.
That's what they need. They needed to bounce back after losing map number 1. Start off strong. They did lose the first blood, but it didn't matter in the end. They didn't lose the round. So when you're attacking round now, start off with a defensive round. You get scalped in the face here from Schlep, but it is going to be first blood going the way of Rilo.
Okay. I was going to say, Ebony made the entire wrap, and now he's going to be able to get the bomb planter for free. So the bomb doesn't go down. You have now fully stopped the plant from coming through. You have all the information on the world. And I just think that may have been too aggressive of a gunfight from Chance there to try and get inside of 10. You have 2 bodies here on the site. You know that they have to force their hand to get the bomb down. But Amity is just going to keep continuing for the rest of the round. And why not give him the final kill as well? Actually, I think that might have went to his teammate. But regardless, not only does he get the first flank on the player inside of top, Broken gets the good timing to go his way. But then he is able to hop up inside of P1. Find the P3 planter on the bomb, continue that flank all the way through. I don't know if maybe the call from ICC was he's going to be wrapping all the way through spawn. And that was going to be where they were just trying to like double play it up from Dojo.
Potentially.
I just don't know why they didn't have anybody looking at their back there. I feel like that's just kind of like wasted potential.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they could have found an option that way around, but that is ICC Pirates starting off with 2 first bloods and losing both rounds so far as well. That's not the stat that you normally see here. This time round, though, it is going to be the Dallas that get the first blood. And now, slumped down, even though he's got to work in that defense with only 3. Man. But there's the trade come in, but it's instantly answered back, and Dallas, they have got their things sorted out here as they got a 3v2 opportunity. Now a chance to make this a 3v1 inside. Oh, there we go, it does. It is a 3v1, and it's all down to Vapor.
I thought with the knife there, surely that gunfight was going to go his way. And instead, he just gets ripped at close range by an NPC. So now you look down to Vapor.
Godly.
On the right-hand side, and he's got nothing for it. Not even going to be able to get the first blood there on anybody from Dallas. So after 3 rounds, this search and destroy very handedly has been fully controlled by 1 man and 1 man alone. And that's been good man Dan. Well, I guess you could put Amity in conversation as well, but...
Oh, is it good man Dan, or is this just one of these Coycaster glitches?
That might be Amity at the same time. But good man Dan has been frying. I've called his name a couple times. He has been a nice rock. Yeah, it's Amity. Okay, my bad.
Yeah, this is the joys. The joys. Both teams you never could tell on that kill feed anymore. But there we go. We are 3-0 up, and you're Dallas. You are leading the way here, and 8 in a row from Amity is a solid start. You've got a Hellstorm already in a search and destroy after 3 rounds. You're in a position here to hold your own in this defense as well, and he is absolutely lasering, but it will be Reap that gets that first blood. Going away at Dallas again, finally, and potentially looking for an opportunity to make it 4-0, but will be slumped. At least gets one back in that trade to make it a 3v3.
Slow peek on the outside of Dojo. You know that one's going to be pushing in, and that's great reads all around there from the Trailblazers, being able to hold things smooth at the front end of the B site. So now it's a full wrap back out on defense. Over to A. Trying to wrap the map out, maybe try to make a full wrap flank around it. I think that's exactly what the play is going to be. But at the same time, it's the bomb being carried by Vapor and Rilo. They're going to be making a double wrap all the way through Dojo, maybe trying to work this onto A. So I think if you get the challenge up here through middle, you don't see anybody on the bomb. This might be full cause for them to wrap back over to A, and it surely will be. So now they go through middle map. Rilo's going to have a gunfight on the back here unless they both double up through computers into server. And that's exactly what they're going to do. Vapor gets information, now slides for the challenge. Rilo in the back line as Slump falls. Now all of a sudden his teammate's gone, and the two players inside of computers will be able to fully clear out the round. It was just Rap City all across the board. But it's decided Dallas to put the bow on the round.
They're just looking absolutely flawless here in the search and destroy so far. I mean, not even first bloods are making a difference. Not going the way of the Pirates whatsoever, even if the first blood goes their way. Now 4-0 up. Dallas are looking to just barnstorm this one as quickly as they possibly can and head to game number 3, and we'll be taking it to game 4 if we get there. At least continue the way that the Dallas side have done so far. Is now they look on their attacking side. They go a split here too down towards that B site, opening it up, and it's going to be Slump though. First blood, and it goes to Vapor, and it'll be Schlup that falls first.
It was like the first time in a long time we've got a first blood for the Pirates. After map 1 where the gunfights were just falling in their favor, really at any given opportunity, there has been nothing here in the S&D that has been any signs of beautiful. Lareep now on a flank is going to be able to spot one out inside of middle. Good shots on a chance is going to get chip damage, so you give yourselves a bit easier of a situation now in a 2 versus 3. Backline, Amity will fall 1 versus 3. First time for a round win look for the Pirates here on Den. Shots good from Lareep. First gunfight doesn't go his way, and he's going to be a bait and switch double, now pushing back. 59 HP will survive and push into Dojo, and he's got an entire pack of hounds going on for the chase. He'll slide to the left-hand side, stay alive for a moment, but yeah, there's nothing you're really going to be able to do there on a pack of hungry hounds.
Unless they all just line up together and challenge at the same position in the same time, and he's just lasering down. But unfortunately with the NPC, even at that distance, that's not going to be the case there, and he gets shut down eventually. And finally, Pirates not shown on the board. Scenario is just tough
you get one
to answer with.
So it's like, hey, we got one. Awesome. That's your starting point. And now you got to do that 5 more times.
Yep.
Or UNT can do it twice. Obviously, that's the name of the game, but from what we've seen so far, it doesn't really seem like it's something that is feeling too possible at the moment, but only time will tell on what adjustments here the Pirates will make. Chance with bomb in hand is sprinting directly inside of computers. That might have been a good play, all things considered. He just didn't have a teammate there quick enough for a trade. You think the NPC is going to be able to win the gunfight there against an AR, but unfortunately you lose another life early on. So first blood to Dallas, full life advantage, and the spawn is just completely wrapped out. They've got a lot of pressure throughout the map right now.
Yeah, lots of pressure, and Good Man Dan's already on the A site watching. B's fully covered as well, and even if you come through the back here, through the lab side, you've got to watch there from pillars. It's going to be a very difficult task to make it in. He gives away his position as well. Rilo goes for the challenge there. Unfortunately, ICC, they're all getting gunned down. It's all down to Slump, 1v3, but that's not going to happen. And all of a sudden, it is match point for the Dallas side as they're 5-1 up, looking to take full control of this and take it to game 3, a tie game.
Look at the round there, wasn't bad. Like, I genuinely do like the kind of mid-map pressure that ICC threw at the beginning. Trying to get chance aggressive inside the bottom of computers. Nobody's really had anything kind of going for them, so just trying to get a little momentum, get something to kind of be inspired for the rest of the map would have been great on the back end of a round win. Unfortunately, again, just didn't have a teammate there, so now you're back to the defense. You go a 2-1-1 split. Actually, it looks like it's going to be a 2-2 split instead. But everybody is fully over on the A side. It was a gamble stack up through middle and the top side of B, and everybody from Trailblazers now pushing their way forward. Dallas will be able to spot one out backside of P4.
Here comes that Hellstorm.
Find one. They're just going to keep everybody inside. There should be a bomb plant.
Should be a free one. Yeah.
Why is They're not going down.
They're just waiting their time, thinking maybe they're all going to jump indoors inside here as well for that opportunity. But as it stands, Good Man Dan's first to go down. All of a sudden, Pirates, they've got themselves a ship that's sailing potentially to another round. Round 2 already, even after losing chance early. Reap's trying to stay alive here as he gets back towards his teammate Amity. They wrap fully round their own spawn, now heading towards that B site. Their time is ticking against them, so surely, if you're the Pirates, you know they're going to have to be over to the other side. And I watched it from mid-map. Slump now comes to the challenge. Surely knows all the information. They're wrapping on from both sides. Chance for the pinch from Dojo and from security side. Oh, but these gunfight wins now.
Oh, Reap spots one, tries to go for the wall bang. It's a really awkward gunfight there for the front, but he's able to survive. Good Man Dan on the opposite end is able to find one, but Slump there for a trade. Now the turn back around from Reap.
Wow.
No way. 1v1, right side corner. Rilo on the drop down. I thought for a moment he takes it.
I thought he was
But
a way to take it.
For a moment in life, the Pirates will once again continue to stay alive here in the Search and Destroy. And I have to just say it real quick. If we're going to invest the streak there, we're going to push everybody inside, and we're going to have full information on where people are pushing. For the love of God, in a 3v4, just get the bomb down.
Yeah, 100%. If nobody's going to challenge you once they're already indoors, and somehow they just didn't get that time to get that bomb down, it would have been even more of a chance to win it there and then. But unfortunately, we'll go to another round. But you've got Rilo, who's starting to heat up now, 3 in a row from them. Can they keep their streak alive, and can they build towards getting the Pirates back into this game? Still a long way to go. Has to be perfect fully from here on out as they force their way through B.
Now look at Chance once again, just getting really aggressive inside of Dojo. Wants to get one and somehow gets away for it. It was spooky there because he was the one with the bomb in hand. So you never really want to see your bomb carrier kind of going out on an island, but instead of getting this one down, they're just going to try and force this all the way through Dojo. They got 4 bodies now looking to push their way through. First gunfight goes to Good Man Dan. He's able to find a second forward as well. So this gives the look to Amity now for a 1 versus 2, a much better chance for himself.
Yeah, I mean, that was a brave child, but he stood his ground and found 2, and he's got information here as well, but timing not against him. Wow. That was a crazy round, to be fair. I thought it was going to be done in one there, but once again, Dallas, they are just not managing to find that inevitable winning round that they need to take this map here. So far, it is going to be Trailblazers having to still try and find that round that's just elusively getting away from them.
Well, these are the gunfights the Pirates have wanted throughout the entirety of the Search and Destroy. And they're finally being able to take them. Chance being able to push up into Dojo, get aggressive, find that first blood. And the fact that he's able to get out not only with his life, but his teammate was able to then push in behind him, kind of bait and switch out another kill that goes their way. All great stuff here. And these closing rounds of the Search and Destroy. Slump able to open up with yet another blood here. So the Pirates starting to really get themselves working on this den map too. Inside a middle map, you get the good trade on the Reap there from Good Man Dan. So all of a sudden now things start to flip around just a bit more. Even on the map spread, Good Man Dan trying to back his life off, push all the way through. 3 versus 2, ICC on top.
Once again there, an Ado comes in and takes out one.
Wow.
Back and forward, it's a 1v1 again here. For the chance to stay in this map here for the Pirates. And they do. They're staying alive. It is 5-4. We're getting closer and closer to being around 11 when it looked like it was almost sorted out. 5-1 you were up, and now it's 5-4. Starting to get more and more favor towards this Pirate side.
Dog, I got no idea how Slump stayed alive there. On the back end of Dojo, when he was sliding over to 10, I was like, oh, surely he's dead here. He just got caught in the worst timing possible with the heady over by tower being so strong. But he survived. Had to have been super, super weak. Gets into 10. Is able to fully reheal. No stun check to be able to check that damage refrag. Was able to slide back out, win the 1v1. So now 2 rounds away. All of a sudden, this is starting to feel a lot different than it did for those first 5 rounds of the S&D where the Trailblazers were rolling. Chance inside of 10, looking to push his way forward as the MPC in. Smoke going to be pushed all the way over by Dojo. This allows him to get even further pushed up the map, but there's a long flank coming around, and you only have one player watching it right now. It's all down to Rilo trying to find this all the way through the spawn, and isn't able to get it. Good Man Dan, first blood.
Yep, and that's it. Perfect start. For a chance to go in it. Find 2. All of a sudden, Pressure on the Pirates. Now it's all down to Slump. He's found one at least, but it's a 1v2 and he's not a 1v none. All of a sudden, it is finally dealt with as the Dallas Trailblazers will take that 6th round and take it 6-4. Search and destroy, go on their way. It is all tied up in the series here, Karn. We are leaking like a series is on our hands here. We're guaranteed 4 maps. We'll be going back to exposure next up, but it's Black Card after that, guaranteed. But what almost a fantastic comeback from the Pirates, just maybe a little bit too far behind to start them off in that, like the return to getting on form. Looking at that though, as the eliminations 4 in a row goes Dallas. You felt like nothing was stopping them at that point, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, those first 2 rounds, you can look to one thing and one thing alone and just say those first bloods were everything in trying to decide that. Not being able to get the conversions on the offense or defense in rounds 1 and 2 for the Pirates after getting the first bloods in each of those individual rounds, that's going to come back to bite them towards the end of the series, and it absolutely did. I also want to just kind of break down that final round there. That's kind of a look that ICC had gotten a lot on offense, is just being able to bang it out directly to B. When they get that smoke over by Dojo and push the defensive line back even further, you pretty much have the entire site kind of cleared out for yourself at that point. So I get the idea of watching the flank there, and that wasn't a bad play whatsoever. It was just more so the timing that didn't go their way. And when they kind of had everybody push back and they knew they had the site to themselves, that's where that bomb has to go down. And you have to be able to fully commit and stick it in that situation before that flank can really fully develop. And the problem was is they just took too long to get the bomb down before they were able to really reposition themselves, and that allowed the Trailblazers to just fully collapse on the site on B and kind of just win the trade battle out from there. So once that flanking player went down, before he even gets cut off, when you have that site out, that bomb needs to already be down.
Yeah, 100%. I agree completely. They should be well and truly getting that bomb down there at that point as well. But as it stands here, currently tied up in this series in what is winners round number 1 here in this regionals playoffs. Both teams still, even at the first one from the get-go, it was a very close battle. This one was it eventually became a close battle when it looked like Dallas were running away with things. It was starting to be Pirates banging things out and just going really quick to the gunny, and that's exactly what they relied on in map number 1. But going back to respawn, I kind of still feel that I favour the Pirate side in terms of the overall gun skill and the amount of kills that they're able to find on that map, which could be the opening for the overlaid. But if Dallas now got themselves back into that series here, get themselves a win in the bag, get themselves an opportunity now to come out all guns blazing once again here now that they're warm and into the series. Because they did start off all right. It wasn't the massive in terms of like amount of kills they were getting on that map in Hardpoint. But Overload, it's just about where you get these kills, right? It's not about how many you get, it's just where you're getting these kills at the right opportune moments, and that's exactly what you can have to do in Search and Destroy as well. So going from that mode into Overload, it might favour the Dallas side a little bit more than their Hardpoint was in the first place.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know if I want to like label this map as like a surefire win for either team or maybe like a favor, because I think for all intents and purposes in the series, both teams have been very close to one another in a lot of regards, specifically when it comes to kind of the situations where it comes to team fights, right? And that's what Overload is going to consist a lot of. Not only is it going to be those team fights, it's going to be making sure that lead blocker can get out and kind of cause a problem. We saw on the Hardpoint what Chance was able to do for that. We saw in the Search and Destroy, however, that Goodman Dan and Amity were both able to fully suffice on their own with 1v1 gunfights and being able to just survive in the back line, be able to push a spawn out, be able to push a lane out, and be able to come out on top of that. So in the Overload, you have multiple players from either side of these two teams that can do the dirty work of being able to push that line forward and be that lead blocker. If you don't have that lead block though, and something goes awry and that first gunfight doesn't go somebody's way, and then it comes down to the team fights on top of that, yes, on exposure in map 1, we did see the Pirates be able to commit to a lot of breaks on the Hardpoint, but this is going to be something that is more so like, hey, we have the calculated spawns. Who's going to be able to play the better game of knowing exactly where the opponent is at every, like, you don't have to, like, again, Hardpoint, you have to watch your flanks, you have to watch your lanes, you have to watch everything for a chaotic spawn out. Here inside of Overload, everything should just realistically be kept in front of you. It's all going to come down to who's the better team at keeping everything in front of them and not allowing somebody to slip through the back line. I think ICC, one of their strong suits in that first Hardpoint, even in the Search and Destroy there, was getting into the back line and causing a problem behind everybody. So if the Trailblazers can stay on top of that and then they can commit to their own flanks and then really start to upset ICC on the opposite end, Yeah, it gives them a really good chance. But I mean, that could be said for both teams. So that's why I'm kind of like still a toss-up of who is going to be able to be the stronger team in the map 3. If we're just going based off of just respawn alone, yes, you're going to give this in a favorable look to ICC, but I don't think that's really the case of the story.
Yeah, just keep an eye on Chance on he's getting lost opportunities around the back of the map here. So like you said, that's a crucial thing in Overlord. You can't let people get in from behind. As soon as they start setting up in your spawn and you get a couple dead, all of a sudden you're just trying to find that one player back behind you who's...
Everybody loves to use the overgeneralization of the map. Oh, the fundamentals, yeah. No, but realistically, it's just winning the gunfights, holding everything in front of you. That's all it comes down to. So whoever does that better should theoretically win map 3.
Guns up, all at the front, all ready to go into exposure overload. A tied series. This could be a turning point for both of these sides, or we could just see it going back and forward all the way to game number 5. Either way, I'm all for it. I'm looking forward to whatever happens here, because these games have been very close indeed, with both sides looking on form eventually in each of their own maps separately. So I mean, going into this one, this is the decider that could potentially put you on the underside and the chance of losing that match straight away, because it'll be match point to one of these sides going into Overload. We kick us off.
That's fun. Schlep up top ring. First gunfight, you're going to have to look top P3, and you have got some chip damage. And Rilo, okay. Reach out and out, why not? You lose your life for it, and now it's a complete 4 down. They're going to be spawning all the way deep right, and this should be a push in through P3 to really cut off that left side of the map. You're going to be able to spot one out to the left, so your teammate should have the information that they're going to be there. So Reap up for one, second one out by long. Honestly, I wish that would have been a little bit quicker for the player in the back who had the overload or the payload. Yeah, Goodman Dan gets 2 for it, but you had the opportunity to really punch that one in quickly. Just send a couple more bodies there. Maybe you come out on top of the trade battle. Instead, you don't even give yourselves a shot at it.
Yeah, I know they were so well set up here with the first 4 dead quickly, but now the reset of the EMP means you've got a player pushed up into their back spawn. That's Vapor, and it's going to be Chance that's looking to try and run it, and he almost guns him down with a pistol, but the trades come back in, and it's still a chance for Vapor. He knows where he is. He's going to find the kill. He's going to slide it on in. ICC Pirates take the first score, but that's going to be top EMP now, and it's going to be positioned here for the Dallas side, unless Rilo just keeps gunning you down in your spawn.
Chance, turn around. Oh, close gunfight there. Goodman Dan, though, for it. Vapor, great way to spray transfer back over to Goodman Dan. But you pick up the device. You're able to make this way forward. And now, as you try to look inside the cut, there's 2 that challenge out on the back end, and everybody's cut down. Forces. Now it's an offensive look back on the opposite end after the Pirates were able to at least get 1 in. You look for the second challenge here. An opportunity for the Trailblazers. Needs to be a lot quicker this time, but the problem is the lead blocker loses the first gunfight.
Yeah, they're all set up there and getting slowed down there by that mid push. It's going to be a chance not to push up for ICC Pirates. The kills go way off Dallas so far, but the spawns are still close enough here for Pirates to answer back quickly. EMP carrier has been gunned down and, you know, set up still on solar panel, but not able to get past green. Oh, and get yourself a position. Now your EMP's down. Can forward trades go? It's not really working for Dallas so far going down this B site.
Through middle, the play here is to P3. Maybe wrap it out to dirt, but the problem is your chance of surviving up in top P3. You've got the chase on it. Semtex is going to force him all the way out the window, and that's going to be information to call out to the rest of the team to say, hey, everybody's up through middle map. Now it's just all about the collapse on it. Goodman Dan out by P5, surviving his life right now. Jump challenge up onto one in the corner. Good checks out. He's going to be able to be so close to getting one for the first lead block, and now you're going to have to wrap this a little bit further back. You got to wait for those reinforcements to get across the map, and ICC very keen to this. They don't want to push too far out. They don't want to give a look to the opposite team as they're on an offensive push, but they're going to knock down Schlep first, and this is going to be a full rotation to the spawn side. They need to be careful because this could be very dangerous should the gunfights go Pirates' way.
I mean, you've got Slump coming around from behind, but Free Dead in the feed going forward, so they're getting a chance to get some good map control here, and it's going to be Roop. He's already on that A zone, and that kill could go their way. There's a chance to answer back, and they do get one. Detonation done. Free Dead in the feed, but that's going to be control still down this bottom side. That's all 4 dead for Pirates, and all of a sudden there's a chance to quickly run through mid-map, get that EMP, and relay this quickly. If we can gun down the players in mid, Vapor trying to stop it, but not able to do so, and it looks like it could be a second answer one, and it is going to be Goodman Dan sliding back in for score number 2.
Yeah, I was going to say, that was a phenomenal relay opportunity there. Getting everybody to spawn north side. You win the gunfights there. Dude, it's just so unfortunate for the Pirates too, because that was a crazy flank that Slump had. If he was there just a second faster, he probably finds one, if not two, and even the payload throughout middle map, and then slows down that push even further. But this is just allowing them to be able to have relay opportunity after relay opportunity. Back down to the south side of the map. The Reaper's able to find one. They go 3 for 1 on it, and now can push their way directly forward. They have to go directly through the cross of Vapor. He's able to track well for the first one, but unfortunately the last few shots don't connect. He finds 3 and they clear the spawn out, but the Trailblazers are able to score the 3rd goal unanswered on the Pirates, and now this map is completely flipped around in the way of Dallas.
Yeah, and even with the 3 dead and the feed, they're all spawning on that base side anyway, so they're quickly up towards that EMP, the second spawn site, and all of a sudden they've got the kills going their way again. They have map control, everybody's spawning down towards that A site. They're going to be able to clear up through P3. Kills going the way of Rape, that's 2. That's going to be another chance to get the 4th. It's going to be done. It's going to be 4-1 going into that second half. What a play here from Dallas. They're looking on fine form here in Overload.
Reap, my goodness. Hot and bothered here on a Friday night. There's just something about 3 pieces that get you going. Able to find one out in middle, recognizes the teammates are there, gets up top P3. We'll see it one more time. Shot's good there, right side. Why not give him number 4 instead of the kill cam as well? Basically wipes the entire team by himself. Teammates are there. Sure, he gets traded by his Semtex, but who the hell cares? 4-1 for the Trailblazers. Up here inside of map 3. After the hard point at map 1 felt almost heartbreaking for them at times, just with some of the plays that could have gone their way for them to really come out on top of that map 1. That search and destroy lit the fire underneath them. Here in the Overload, they are continuing to burn, baby, burn. It might be a fire season. We might be in a drought watch here in Florida, but I'm not sure what it's like out in Dallas. I don't think they're getting much rain right now.
Yeah, well, I could say it's the opposite from my side of the pond here, but you get a lot of that and a lot of water wherever you need it. But you know what they're needing here to go on a wee kill spree of their own here, as Pirates need to try and find an opening and try and get there quickly so they can try and answer these ones back. But they're on that favoured side. I feel like this is the better side to be on anyway, and that's what Dallas has managed to get control of it so far. But holding their defensive strong here, but that's going to be kills in the back here for at least 2, but not enough to get the 3rd one. And all about the wraparound here from Rilo. Does he get spotted? No, he doesn't. As the kill is done, there's the EMP drop. That's a chance to get one back, and Pirates should answer one in here, and he's going to get the chance to relay this as well, because that'll be coming top side. They're waiting their time, as you can see. They're already waiting for kills, but they don't get the kills that they need, and they actually lost the EMP carrier, so they don't get the... What are they doing? What are they doing?
Dude, the play there was hold the spawn there, hold the ball there, and then be able to immediately, they go back the other way. Like, this is ridiculous. But like the whole play there was sit in the corner, play for the relay, because they knew where it was going to be spawning. They wanted to win the kills to then try to get that bomb back in for the EMP upload. Instead, everybody just rushes forward. You don't even watch yourself in the spawn. And that is not even a guarantee that you're going to be able to make that play happen. So this is just so difficult for themselves. And over at B, it's another cap that comes through. Oh my god.
No, look at they're all set up bottom of the map as well here. There's 3 dead. There's another chance. This is going to be an absolute tear here. On this unfavorable side, I'd say so, but there you go. Quickly answer. Oh, the EMP shut down at least for 1, but trades in. Chance to get this back in. It's going to be 7-1. It's 1 more away from tying up map number 3, and there's still 3 minutes left on this client time.
I mean, at this point, you just chalk it up. If you're the Pirates, you're down 7-1 right now. After that first play in the round where you had an opportunity to score and then maybe relay it from the north side of the map because the ball was spawning there, then yeah, you give yourselves a look at this game. But now 7-1. If you come back and do something crazy, I mean, go ahead for it. That'd be fun. But it's not looking right now like that is going to be in any sort of circumstances something that works out in their favor. If you have a chance to score it, you score it.
It's what we'd call the Brazilians in soccer, so we say it's the Brazil so far. But will it stay that way? I don't think so. I feel like no matter what, with 2 minutes on the clock, the way that Trailblazers are running the map, they're running amok. There's 3 dead, there's 4 dead, there's only 1 more player to deal with now in the back. That's just spawned, that's Vapor, and that's it done. 8-1 the score. Dallas have just ran it. Wow. That's it. There's like no words for that. Like, I feel like when you had the opportunity to get the score,
like that's my question. Like, what are we doing? Like, genuinely, what are we doing? Like, that might be that might be worse than like okay, maybe not necessarily as worse, but like that just gives me like flashbacks of like Go B. Go B. The B point. Get on the point. From Octane way back in MW3. That's the, like, that just gave me flashbacks to that. Because, like, what are... Again, like I said, I know what the intention behind that was. And the intention was good. But just come into it at that point. Like, just go. Like,
just be like, right, okay,
not only are you
we've waited long enough, put it in.
Yeah, like, it's not like we're playing the overload settings where it's like, okay, well, when you pick up the bomb, we only have 2 minutes on the clock and you're completely stalling the clock out, waiting for time. You had 5 minutes, and that clock was draining and draining and draining, and it was coming down. You don't have the luxury with a 5-1 deficit of being able to sit there and say, oh yeah, I'm just gonna wait here in the corner and wait for my teammates to get that rally. You don't have the luxury right there. You were getting smoked the whole map. You got to put that in.
Yeah, 100%. And you can see Reap 26 and 15, almost double positive. Here he goes. And yeah, I mean, this is just, I don't know, it's just a miscommunication from Pirates, whatever it was. But Dallas, they knew what they were doing. They've sorted things out. They got 2 maps back to back now. I know they have map and match point on their hands here, going into another race blast back straight off the back of an overload. I mean, you'd be feeling yourself now if you're the Trailblazers, because after that performance, Pirates might have had a little bit of a wee disconnect from their own brains at this point in time. So can they switch it back on? Can they turn it back up like they did in game number 1? Or is this the end of the ICC Pirates winners run and they have to be dropped down? We'll wait and see, but we'll take a short break here and we will be heading back into action for Blackheart Hardpoint.
All right, welcome back. The ICC Pirates in a, I'm not exactly sure what to call that display of a map 3 overload was. Unfortunately, now find themselves at an 0-2 deficit after winning map 1 against this Trailblazers roster, who has looked quite nice in the 2-3 combo. Now, of course, we know the Neslo of a series, so that 2-3 isn't necessarily indicative of what we will see in a map 4, specifically with how the Pirates were able to play inside of map 1, but momentum surely is riding on the Trailblazer side right now. Dallas is rolling, and the Pirates now have to come back from a 2-1 lead, be able to not only tie the series up, and then take a dastardly game 5, where, unfortunately, they didn't look that great in Search and Destroy.
Yeah, they were definitely a slow start in that Search and Destroy, so if it does go to the raid Search and Destroy for Dallas, I feel like they've got the upper hand going into it, but either way, back off of it, a very strong performance in that overload. Dallas can just end it right here, right now, if they can keep the gunny up as they were in that overload. I mean, it's going to be a difficult task for Pirates to answer back with, because, yeah, slow starter in that overload, just didn't have it switched on. I don't know where the brains were, but they weren't in overload, they were in something else and rotating elsewhere. Probably not in the right moment in time, but Hardpoint now, they need to start switching on again as they did in Exposure. Hardpoint, is this Blackheart blow map going to favour them? We'll just have to wait and see as we get into that game soon enough. Corn, I mean, they were gunning in map 1, but they slowly came off of the gas pedal.
Yeah, just a bit. But I will say, ICC, again, there hasn't, and this is so weird to say, especially when you see the 8-1 scoreline there.
Yeah.
Inside of the overload, like, for the first half, yes, like, there were a few moments where the Trailblazer just got hot. They were able to rally. They found that south side of the map over by dirt, which at times can be a really difficult site to be able to commit on, but they were able to just get the kill after kill after kill. So that was not necessarily a problem. That was just kind of being on, like, what is more of a favor side on Exposure than anything else, which is fine. The second half is where obviously we saw the struggle start to happen, but again, I don't think the scoreline would have been that bad if they would have been able to get that first score in that second half. I think after the play kind of fell apart and they weren't able to get that payload into the point, then it was just kind of like a rally effort from ICC after, or excuse me, from Dallas after that, and I think it was kind of just like one of those things where it was like, damn, the vibe is just kind of chalked in the team comms. So I don't think it's necessarily fair to put a representation on that of an 8-1 that felt really like an 8-1. It just kind of felt like after that first play in the second half didn't go their way, it was just kind of like, I don't want to say they stopped trying, but you could definitely tell the pressure got lifted up just a bit. So back to a hard point now. This is where the Pirates really made their bread and butter inside of the series. It was Amity inside of the Search and Destroy who was able to make most of it, but although he gets a double there to try and trade back, it's ICC who come out on top inside of P1. Now they can push up long. They can hold this player off. It's a B3 deep spawns in from the Trailblazers, but they're looking to get inside P1.
Yeah, well, this map has been GA'd, well, been taken out of the map rotation, going into our next set soon enough, but you know, there's a reason why. It's just back and forward like yo-yo. You just don't know who's going to get control of it, and there's all but the gunfight, especially middle of the map from P1, and that's what it's done. Back and forward, it's gone, but ICC, 22 seconds is a good amount of time here on P1, and you're trying to set yourself up here for P2. You're in a great condition to do it as well, with all the maps secure in that back here. Slump's getting it, but Reap tries to go on a tear of himself. Good man, Dan will find one, Schlep will get another, so that's going to be 2 dead to push their way through P1 and try and set themselves up for P2 with the pinch coming on in. Slump, can he find the kill that he needs? No, he can't. That's a great challenge, and that is a win with a chance of getting that spawns here for the Dallas Trailblazers as they do get into P2 first off.
Wow,
and
wow.
What ya? Just lasering with that M50.
Didn't let off the trigger. That's all he had to do, was just literally hold the right trigger down, wait for them to all funnel through the doorway. It was looking like maybe a surefire break from the Pirates to be able to funnel in the front side of P2. All of a sudden now flips back around where they are fully spawning out across the map, and everything is collapsed on top of them. So the first 27 seconds of time that went to them in P1 fully erased by Dallas here on P2. They got out, got the spawns, and now it's all down to a few of these players from the Pirates looking to make their way forward. They've got a 2-for-1 trade going their way. Can they get back inside of P2 for the back 20?
Yeah, looking like wipe out the whole time,
No
but that
way.
nade's going to kill a teammate, and all of a sudden, somehow Dallas hold on to that hill with 11 more seconds to go. They're going to take that gap to 20 seconds and have set up spawns here for P3. They're looking to get the early lead that they want to keep pushing that going their way, because this is map point at the end of the day. So the more skills they get here, the more points they get right now. It's going to make things even more difficult here for ICC Pirates to get back in, as there's even more time going their way. Schlepp's on a 5 spree as well, and he's needing somebody to stop him. Now, this could be cruise missiles on its way.
They're doing more harm to themselves than good. 2 teammates on the break into P2. They had the numbers there once again and were able to do anything with it. Then all of a sudden, you look over to P3, where you had Goodman Dan and Amity just playing together in a tag team effort, where they're backside P3 and they get the full spawns locked down. 3 through the front were able to get knocked off of it, and the Pirates have not been able to have any life inside of this game since P1. So now you look to the break once again for the back 20 seconds. Vapor gets in, has to slide back, and you look all the way to the bottom side of the screen. Look what's happening. You've got the full spawn wrap, and they might just be able to get the best timing in the world on Rilo here, who slides across over by Crane, but the teammate for the opportunity in the trade in the back, and they're going to get the spawns off it as well.
This is unbelievable. Rilo as well gets shut down, so all of a sudden you're there for Dallas. You're going to get to the 100-point mark before ICC even get the chance to get into that hill as well. And they've got everybody dead. It's all just through mid-map they go. Rilo, he's going to wait on the rest of his teammates before he starts making a break for it, but Schlep is there to shut him down. I'm sure Schlep just gained the Hellstorm as he does. Yes, he has, but he's also back on a free streak as well after gaining that Hellstorm in the last set. Now looking very much in control of this hardpoint.
Slump there, tried for it. They have a deep spawn block, so that allowed the Reap literally just to play inside a middle map, have the playground of P1, keep those spawns pushed all the way deep back by P3, and they even got a split spawn parallel out by P5 for a little bit there. So the entirety of the map, once again, has been just put in front of them. All the Pirates have been able to do is just try to get scrap time every time. They've had good looks. They just shot themselves in the foot every time.
Yeah, every single time so far, but now if they can hold on to the back spawn, Goodman Dan will make sure it slumps out of the way. That's once again spawn control for the Dallas Trailblazers, but we've only got one player now left in the back. He's going to have to try and do it, but Chance makes a use of it, and they're going to get the rotation, but the spawn's still close for Dallas. Are they going to be able to spot that player in the back? That's Goodman Danny's there. They never checked it. He's still in the back. He's still trying to get the spawns. Now he can sneak up from behind. He'll use his opportunity. He'll find one. Schlep will find the next. All of a sudden the break is in from Dallas, and they can keep getting more time on that hill.
I mean, it's a great play from Dan, but if you're the Pirates, you got to check that out, especially when you got the spawn over by double doors inside of, or like the in between P3 and P4. If you get that spawn out, you immediately have to say, hey, turn around in the back. We need to make sure we lock down and secure those spawns. Instead, they don't do it. Dan gets 2 for it. They get the full spawns in by P5 and now can just hold to the front as they've got an entire spread on that right side of the map. Nobody able to push through without a gunfight being able to be taken. 2 go down once again. The Pirates down by almost 100 points here after scoring the first 27 points of this game. P2, P3, P4, and P5, all majority of time to Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas just looking like they have got themselves locked in for the series, looking to lock it out and finish it here. A good 100-point lead almost. And we go back towards P1. It's all about holding for everything here now for ICC Pirates as Vapor goes on a wee tear himself. He's on 3 in a row, makes that 4, gives himself to even in that score sheet, and hopefully they can hold as much of this time as possible, because Full 60 here. Pulls it quite back into margin.
Oh, but good man Dan once again just gets the best timing in the world as he's all the way back through the backside of P4. They'll trade him out immediately, and Vapor looks for one inside of middle map. One will jump off the map and make it a bit easier for the pushback inside of P1. Schlep here trying to play his life. Gets the hop up, spots out one. Good shots in, rips the headshot off of Rilo. Contested time is great time here for the Trailblazers. Another shot down low. Schlep with the SMG still has the Hellstorm to use should they need it. On the P2 rotation, it is full control now for the Pirates. And I was going to say, here on the second rotation, the good news is it's most likely you probably won't have two teammates on a break into a hard point, and you give yourselves a chance to get out on rotation. So this might be a little bit easier, but easier said than done, of course, as the back spawns will still be in. It's going to need to be a full break here from the side of Dallas.
Yeah, Grape wins this gunfight here. This could be the game changer. He finds one, his teammate. Oh, he finds a second as well on a chance, and all of a sudden they're going to get the chance to get into that break. There's only one player in the hill, and it's all slump. Here comes the hit streak, and that's 3 dead straight off the rip. They're going to be a 50-point lead. It's been pulled back from Pirates, but they've got the break early, and Nickel far out there are spawning straight down yellow. They have to go through mid push where there's already Amity waiting as the challenge comes back and forward. Right, look, has to find these corners. He does do so. Fantastic, but the trades are there.
Yeah, the problem is there's just too many bodies in the back, and Dallas are staying on top of the trade battle. So even though you do a great job of being able to push that out, get those rotations, it was the Streak and Lareep on the back end being able to find them. They all had to funnel inside, and then you just fully cut them off across the map. That gets everybody set up in position. And now on P3, last time through was Goodman, Dan, and Amity who were able to double in the back here to not only grab the spawns, but get the initial P3 time. This time it's just Schlep by himself running it down with the SMG. He's going to be able to find 2-4. And now the reinforcements here. 1v1 in the back line, but the spawn's still there by P3. This is good time for the Pirates here, still down by about 100.
Yeah, down by 100, but can't control. But that was only for a matter of seconds. There's one player still back. It's Chance, but Chance needs to win one. There's going to be a player spawning right behind you. That's Dan once again in the back, causing a nuisance. There's going to be still more time for Dallas as they are only 40 seconds away from winning this hard point and winning this series here, and they're cutting them down 1 for 1. Root find another 2. Amity finds the farthest all down to Vapor. He's shut down. More time going the way. Could end it right here. Oh, no, we can't. We're almost there, but is it? Good. No, we can't. just short.
Some text in middle map will hit. Connect with one, weaken him up as he's pushing out the doorway. Schlep will find another kill there. They're going to have to get the rotation here to be able to go ahead and take the game away. What more could be said about this Trailblazers roster here in the respawns after map 1? It has been smooth sailing all the way on these dirty Pirates. As Relief will look back down, P4 sure will be in their possession right now, but with the way that they have been breaking thus far, I don't know how long that's going to stay that way.
Yeah, ICC Pirates becoming cannon fodder in the end by the looks of things, with 5 more seconds needed for Dallas here to make their way in to get themselves sealed in this winners round. Not yet making their way into P4 though. That's a good hold so far for Pirates. They're holding on for dear life, but they need perfect hard point. They can't lose a set of kills. That'll be it. But Cat Dan, he falls, so he's deaf as well, and all of a sudden they're trying to get the rotation round the back. Reap finds one. Want a chance, has to get the wall bang, but not going to get the time here. They're just going to hold herself because they only need 5 more seconds. They don't have to push it too much. Looking for that new set over towards P5 where they're already in control of the spawns. That's the kills maybe needed now. All down to Chance. And Chance is gone by the looks of it. And all go up in vapors.
You just got to play the contest here as long as you can, and you manage to do it, but to the front, there's not going to be any pressure there. One final body. Chance with the opportunity to hold him out, and he does it at least for a moment. Has to keep continuously touching. A flank comes in through middle map. Vapor is there. Has to go for the challenge and is able to find it. Last gunfight there. Won't be able to win it, and it's going to be a 2-piece from Amity to seal the deal here in winners round 1. The Dallas Trailblazers, a team that came into this with a 6-5 record on the season, getting through the regional playoffs and into the CCL playoffs. Not a team that a lot of people had on their radar. ICC has a fit with them. They win map 1, they lose the next 3. Winners round 2, set in the direct sights of Dallas. Something that the Cowboys have never done.
I mean,
in the last 10 years.
Well, yeah, fair. Almost 100-point gap there in terms of it. They started off, they had so many opportunities where they had a 100-point gap, and it made it very difficult for anything from the Pirates to come back, no matter what they threw at it. Everything, for the most part, was throwing their own nades at their own teammates to stop their pushes, and eventually meant that they could not make the break at the time they were wanting to. In Dallas, they just take that lead and they run with it. They take 3 games in a row, and they win that series 3-1 after what was a slow starter in exposure. But you know what? They just absolutely turned it around on its head. It wasn't going to be the Neslo. They just done it in 4. Dallas Trailblazers, you continue in that winners round. You'll knock down the Pirates into that long losers bracket. It'll be a difficult task from here on out for the Pirates. And like we said, stats mean nothing before we got onto the series. It just shows that 6-5 versus 8-3 does not mean nothing when it comes to knockout competition.
Like we said throughout the entire year, when you look at all the teams throughout every region, every conference has their own differences. There's stronger teams in some conferences. Allows teams to have a little bit easier time, not only throughout the conference championships, but going into the CCL playoffs. They get a better seed for themselves. And it's not to say the competition for ICC wasn't good throughout the entire year. They didn't play well. Dallas just came out in this series with something to prove. They came through the CCL playoffs inside of the regionals with something to prove. And they get to this point. They go up against a very talented ICC roster. And all of a sudden, things turn around. Things look really good for them. I came into this wondering, okay, UNT Dallas, really hadn't heard much of them throughout the entire year. Hadn't got a chance to see them play. Very pleasantly surprised with the way that not only they were able to demonstrate their map 2 ability to bounce back after a map 1, but their overload looked fantastic. Their hardpoint looked extremely good at the same time. Not only was it people being able to push in the right spots, the team pushes that were fantastic, being able to double back with the different wraps that they had, different looks at it. It was just every single time that somebody died, there was somebody there for a trade immediately afterwards. And that is a sign of a talented, well-oiled, and well-practiced Call of Duty team. I'm excited to see what this Dallas roster can do. It might be upset city in winners round 2.
Yep, it might well be indeed, but speaking of which, anyway, we're going to our game number 2 of the day. It will be Buckeye Cod versus Fisher White up next, but it's going to be yourself, Corn, and you'll be joined alongside Cash. It was a pleasure once again to cast alongside yourself, but Pirates, fortunately, lose a run for you. Now, Dallas, you continue in that winners round, see how far you can push yourself here in that regional playoffs. We'll see you after a break, and then we'll be back to game number 2. Peace.